Hey guys, what's up? So Becky with BluSky, and I'm so excited. I get to have a guest coach with me today, which I don't get to do all the time, and so I feel like it's like a celebration for me for this summer. But you guys, this is my very good friend and coach Amy. Amy has been coaching me since I was pregnant with my second, so 8 years now, both in like physical fitness, but actually more so in mental health, which I was not prepared for when I met you. But you have changed me in so many ways that when thinking about this role with you guys, honestly, her words are in the back of my mind when I put together like over half of my presentations is stuff that I have learned just from working with her over the years. So, Amy, thank you so much for being here with me.
Of course, I love doing this.
Yes. So, Amy does have an online program, and I think initially, catch me if I'm wrong, but initially you started teaching the physical fitness primarily, but then it expanded into so much more. So, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Well, I am a personal trainer, a life coach, a self-talk trainer, and a nutritionist. What I very first started with this brand called Fit for Excellence is training people for excellence. But originally, before that, I actually started studying neuroplasticity, which is our self-talk. And that's why it's part of every piece of my business. I teach it within my training, within my nutrition. And like Becky said, she didn't even know that she was going to get it out of her experience with me, but I can't help it. Once you understand the power of neuroplasticity in your self-talk, it bleeds into everything you do because you know it works. And so that is how I really founded my entire Fit for Excellence program. And that's what really makes it different, because you can find training and nutrition everywhere online, but the missing piece is the self-talk and rewiring your brain so your thoughts work for you. And so that's what I do every single day. I absolutely love it. And just like Becky, she is a perfect example of someone who takes what she thought was just physically getting in shape into a tool that now she uses every single day in her career, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's really wild how you have changed me, and I did not anticipate this at all. Welcome, Jonathan, Jaja, Mary. I'm so glad to hear you guys here. What's up, Mary? I actually had a killer trading morning, so we're going to talk about that in Power Hour. But yeah, so I when I joined Amy, I just honestly wanted to not feel so terrible being pregnant because it like kind of destroys your body in certain ways. But what I have learned over time is that, like Amy said, you can learn positive like body mechanics and how to do moves without injuring yourself and how to stay active and how that helps longevity of your body. But what's different about certain people is that when you speak about your whole body and your mental health and like your sanity and health and sleep and water and nutrition, it all comes together. Oh, Tiffany, you made it. Nacho, you guys, welcome in. So the reason why when I got this role BluSky and I got permission to have guests here and there as long as they were qualified, Amy was definitely on my short list, because when you listen to someone who really understands that we actually can create our lives and have control over more than we think, you start to think like them. The more you hear these words, you start to change the way that you're thinking. And I think that's why you guys show up to these psychology labs, is that we talk about the stuff that I create lessons based on what I need to hear. And so when you hear the things that we need to be doing more often, it just sinks in deeper. And so, Amy, let's like start there, because I think that that's neuroplasticity, right?
Mm-hmm. And the secret to all success is repetition. You never need to learn anything else. It's repetition. And so this is why when you're listening to Becky and she's teaching you the things that you want to improve, it is repetition. If you're ever to train with me, the thing that I do while we're training or while I'm coaching you in any way is repetition. I'm repeating the same thought, and it's rewiring your brain. I like to call it brainwashing, but some people don't love that.
I love it.
But I'm going to brainwash you into believing in yourself. And because everyone was born with unlimited potential. This is where neuroplasticity begins. Is in the beginning, we are all born with this incredible, beautiful brain. But from the moment we were born, we were programmed by our environment. And so if you weren't raised by people that are positive or that are pushing you towards success or to build a business, or you're capable of anything, then you have to rewire your brain. But the good news is it is possible at any age to completely rewire your mind.
Yeah. I didn't even start, I don't think, until deep into my 30s, because I didn't think I needed it. You know, you don't know what you need until you start shifting. And you're like, oh, this feels better. I feel differently. I'm thinking differently. I'm starting to have different outcomes. And that bled into, like, I started trading with you before trading. And then as I started trading, they were separate for me. But then as I figured out that psychology was actually the key to real success, like you guys know that I didn't make money as a trader until I started targeting my psychology specifically. And I did a ton of work there. And that's when I really started making the shift of like, calming down and having patience and humility and letting the hard days not be so painful, but more so reframing them as lessons, that's when I actually started getting to my goals. And unbeknownst to me, because I have trading coaches who led me down psychology conversations, when I would work with Amy on the side to just like nurse my back or just stay healthy, everything that she was saying would matter too. And I would tell my trading people about what I heard when I worked out with Amy that morning, such as like, let it take time, that like big things that you're trying to grow, if you actually like give it the time and space to change you, then the outcomes follow. And that's the whole, like your P&L is a lagging indicator that we talk about in trading. That's because when you change your discipline and your focus and your priorities when you're trading, the money comes afterwards. And I think that's probably true with the body, right? With life.
That's completely true. And I love the physical side of helping anybody build a business or with whatever passion you're going for, because there's a crazy amount of science backing up that our systems, right? And systems in place are what is going to actually lead us to the goal. It's not going and focusing only on the goal, but focusing on your daily system. And so that's where getting healthy, getting fit, getting your mind in shape, they all go together, and being healthy and fit actually improves your performance on your job so much.
Yeah.
It's wild. So people that get fit, that do take care of their body, that do move their body, they're moving out the stress of the day. They're being able to think more clear. So all of this, none of it, I do believe you have to put it all together. And so when she says these habits, she's talking about her system. Her fit habits have helped her so much with what she is now. Yeah. But it was building on it. And I think that a lot of people struggle with an all or nothing mindset, or like you already should be there, or you should have already arrived, or comparison trap. I like to prune those things off. So think of your neural pathways as being able to prune things off and rewriting with a new script. So if you struggle with a past of negativity or lack of self-belief, we want to prune those things off by grabbing a new script, like listening to what Becky's saying over and over. That after 21 days has proven by science that it rewires your brain to become new pathways so that you are thinking consistently as a successful day trader, because you're just repeating what she says. And so that's why I repeat the same message over and over and over and over and over. I mean, 48,000 times during my workouts with people, because I know that is becoming the reality as we repeat it, not because they tried to do an all or nothing, or they tried to start an all new program and they think that they're going to do it all perfectly at once, but we're building on these habits, these thoughts, and that becomes who you are. So we're building a new identity basically. And that's a big, heavy conversation, but it is so simple at the same time because it's repetition.
Yeah. And I think I love how you said that, because it's so true. When I think that a lot of people think, like with New Year's resolutions, right? You start working out and you work out like 4 or 5 times or a week or 2, and you think, now I have arrived. Like this is the life of a fit, healthy person. But it's not that simple. You can't totally change your life in a couple of choice moves where you really nail the discipline. More so, it has to be that shift. That's what I've encountered, is that you can get one payout or you can have a grand slam win, but you can really F yourself over the next week by sliding back into those negative habits. And so by actually making the transformation, she's so proud of me right now. You can see in her face,
so proud
of like actually shifting and saying, if I do this, every week to the best of my ability, not perfectly, in a year, I'm going to be so much farther along than I was. And that's like with fitness. If you start going to the gym on Memorial Day or on New Year's Day, and then you continue to the entire year, you're a very different person by December. Same thing with our trading, is that if we can actually show up, and she's talking about systems, it can be systems for your life and your body and your mindset in general, if you just want to be a really good parent and human and employee at whatever job you have. But for trading, if you can really figure out core rules and choices and disciplines at your computer that get you to your best success and keep your account steady, then after a year of following those guidelines consistently, that's like a good amount of payouts. And so that's kind of how, for me, like the pieces just sort of fell into place over time. The more I behaved in the way that I felt was getting me to my outcomes, then they came. And so a lot of that is from, Amy is saying, repetition. I have talked to you guys about like having audios in my ear, or like we've done a few audios of like mindfulness and visualization about who you want to be. Because when you can call that person to you and act as if that's who you want to become, the results come. And that came from you, right? Because you do visualization every year and repeatedly, and you constantly remind us of like who we want to be, right? So how does like goals and visualization build?
Yeah, I love it. So I love when I started my own self-talk journey, I was someone who was raised with really negative, anxious parents. Um, and they didn't mean to. So this was not them trying to be that way. There wasn't trying to negatively program me. I didn't have people in my life that had these incredible businesses, that had money to spare, that for the things that I wanted to do. So I had to really reprogram from ground zero and had to create a vision of what that could even look like. Because it is really hard to get somewhere if you can't even visualize yourself getting there. So I'm going to use an example of someone who has struggled with weight their whole life, just because it's such a good example. But so someone that has struggled for 20 years to be 300 pounds, but cannot even visualize themselves as less than that, it is really hard to change because your brain is already wanting to stay comfortable. It likes what is normal. It likes what is the same, because that is part of our brain called the amygdala that's fighting to keep you safe, secure, loved, even if that's not loving you back. But it is, so our brain wants to keep us there. And so we have to have a vision of what we're going to become and holding that vision, and then setting our self-talk to match the vision. So just like she said, living as if you already are that person. So when I have this family that wasn't setting me up for this incredible business owning opportunity, I had to rewrite my script to be that person. And so I was writing down, took my vision, and then wrote down my script. Repetition, though. I didn't waver off of this script. And this is why I make scripts for people, because you need to hear the same script over and over. It's not a new affirmation every day. It's not a new podcast every day. It's not a new, who's popping up as your little positive self-talk. It needs to be the same message of the person that you want to become on repetition over and over, because we are rewriting those neural pathways, and it is that serious. So if you are interested in really reprogramming to be successful and to be the person that you really want to be, you can have a vision, create a vision, and then write a script or find an audio that sticks with you or resonates, that you're going to listen to over and over and over and over. And just like she said, for a year, when I started studying psychology and self-talk, I listened to the same message for an entire year. I love the year. I love a year. Yeah. A year listening to the same message, though, rewrote all of my programs. And I had people say, could you be more positive? Could you even be more positive? And it's because I set my brain up to work so effectively for myself that I couldn't actually, I couldn't, it was like I didn't even know how to think differently. I just believed I was going to win. I just believed that favor was following me. I just believed that I had self-control. I had incredible discipline. So rather than thinking on all the things that I struggled with in the past, you're setting your brain up to only think on the things that you want to work for you. So I wasn't thinking about how I struggled with food or alcohol or a bad schedule. That wasn't even in my brain anymore, because I only thought thoughts that worked for me, that were a vote for me. And that is how reprogramming your neuroplasticity is repetition. And it's the same thoughts of who you want to be, of having that vision, write it out as the person that you want to be, and that's what you will become. That's how we shift your identity. And so then it's not I'm trying to show up on Monday and I'm going to give it a go and I'm going to try to be better this week. It is, I'm already acting like the person that is already successfully trading on Monday, and this is just who I am. So that person is not failing. That person can't mess this up because they already have been practicing and they just know what to do. So that's how I was able to drop a food addiction, get super consistent, and build a successful business, even with no cards that were supposedly like in my favor. And then, of course, hanging out with people like her and studying from people that we want to be like also is really, really helpful.
Yeah, I feel like I'm giving away my secrets by having her on here, and I'm having a little bit of like, shit, now you guys know where I get all my good things from, because don't tell everyone that it's not originals to me.
It's not originals to me either. If it makes you feel better. And your ideas aren't going to be original to you either. We all learn from the best.
It's true. Because we learn what works. And I think that's like the thing is that what you are saying is actually what has happened to me is like, you can't in trading, you can't be like, okay, I know I really tilted that day and I did really like terrible things, but I'm really going to not do it the next day. If you don't do something to figure out like that deep root cause analysis of like, what contributed to that day? Am I like fighting with my partner? Did I have terrible sleep? Did I pull down my loss limits? And then I just kind of allowed the cows out to pasture and like let myself play. Like without figuring out what you are doing that is causing the worst damage and then targeting behaviors to transition out of that, it's just going to keep the slide back into the negative habits is so stinking easy. But instead to like put barriers in place and to really think about what you have going on. And that's, I think, the difference of like hobby gambling trading and professional trading, because when you really decide that like, I want to be a professional trader, I want to eventually get to the figures that Mike throws down every day because he has spent decades perfecting his craft and he is a master at the charts now. If that is the goal that you want to achieve, then I believe we have to treat it as professionals, which means like understanding our habits that are contributing to our most success and the ones that are contributing to our most trouble days. And then you have to adjust your system. And so recognizing that that doesn't have to be like an instantaneous thing, but rather like, you know, just targeting them slowly, and that 1% better that we talk about, it really does add up over time. And then it shifts. And so then if you can start just thinking, you know, like this day is just a lesson day because a month ago I did something and I did worse. This time I contained it sooner. I didn't have as bad of a trouble as I did the other day last year or whatever. And so I'm recovering faster. This is a good thing. I am improving over time and giving yourself kind of grace, because one thing that you help me with too is like giving yourself grace, because like when I've had my back injuries or different pregnancies and I felt like I was backsliding into my goals, it's like, it's fine, right? Everyone has times when they backslide. It's just giving yourself grace, right? And loving yourself through rebounding.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't control other people. We can't control our environment all the time. But what we can control is, even when you're saying like your worst days, you're still talking to yourself with positive self-talk, even as you're describing that, which is so awesome, because you're saying it's okay. I give myself grace. And what I love is that how quickly you have learned to spin up. And that's a technique that we really want to master. Is it's not like everybody has their screw it button or their F it button, you know, and it's not that goes away completely. It's that you learn how to spin back up fast. I know I can have a day that's off or a day that's emotional or a day, but I work it out and I know that I can spin up and it's okay. Because if I have, I mean, that's at 1% better, but if I have a whole week that is totally out of control and I didn't do anything that might identify with, I know that it doesn't deter my results. I know I just get back on track and that is what it is, but that's not who I am. I don't stay stuck in that. Who I am is someone who speaks to myself with grace and compassion and goes, oh, remember, this is not all or nothing, because this is actually who I am. And I'm consistent and I show up for myself. And then every time that I have an off week, it's okay, because that's not really who I am. I am actually this new person that does show up. And so I look forward to showing up for myself. I look forward to getting back on track really quick.
Yeah, I love that, because it's not fast. Like you can't have one big home run day where you just nail it and you take this huge P&L and then you're not that person, but you have seen that person is in you. And so you aspire to that, you know, it's like eyes forward, eyes ahead, like know who you want to be. We've talked about this before too, of like what your professional trader in 10 years looks like. They are calm, patient, balanced. They throw down big numbers because they have a great system and they execute on their best setups. And then they don't over trade or over manage or revenge trade. So work that back into the now. And what does that look like today? It looks like, you know, trying to have these systems in place where you can't nuke your account in one day. And you do walk away and you do make time for a walk in the afternoon or whatever recenters your mind and your body. And so like backing it back down into what can I do now to try and grow into this vision that's fully possible. If you can see that person and you can even think through what that person might do, then you can create him or her. Mm-hmm. And like Tiffany, you have a great point in there about watching videos before your session, because like I do a lot of them. And this one might actually end up being one you guys want to like save and watch back, because Amy is truly a very experienced wealth of knowledge in this coaching. And I think that physical fitness aside, because I think the strong body will propel us into, I mean, I want to make money for the next like 50 years of my life. So I need to be able to have the stamina, right? Same. So we have to protect our bodies. But I think that the mind drives all of that, because it's the mind too that says it's important to me to get up to exercise every day, and it's important to me to follow my rules and my risk management for my accounts, and all of those things that you prioritize that build the you of the future that is strong, healthy, peaceful, and blessed.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what you want to do now. So speak to that: strong, healthy, peaceful, and blessed, because that has been, I mean, there are certain key things that you can say that when you say them repeatedly, they become who you are, right?
Yeah, I want to identify as those things. And so when I am writing out my script of who I am, because I'm writing it as if I already am that, I am strong, happy, peaceful, and blessed. And that's something that I actually originally started saying because I have 3 kids. I used to say 3 little kids, but Becky, we've been together for so long. I have teenagers and they're wild. But I've been saying that, I was saying that over them because we speak out blessings or curses out of our mouth. The power of the tongue is wild. Like we are dictating our entire life based off of what we say out of our mouths. And so I am saying I'm strong, peaceful, and blessed over my kids, but I didn't realize how much I was listening in on that. She's listening in on that, right? So what we say is infecting our entire environment. And so if we are not in a positive environment that's normally promoting everyone around us, we get to be the people that use our tongue, our words for power, and saying whatever you're learning, however you're being successful, whenever those things pop up, say them out loud, because not only are you hardwiring them in your brain as your neuroplasticity, you're actually hardwiring the people around you. And that's what I'm really careful about, even though this comes down to you guys are successful in this area. I love being in control of what I allow in my mind and my mouth, because what I allow in my mouth is energy. I want to allow positive, healthy food that is going to keep my energy focused. I have a little bit of a squirrel mindset, unmedicated. So I have to be really careful that I'm actually feeding myself really, really good energy, and that I'm eating enough, that I'm drinking enough water, so that I can stay focused on the job that I have at hand. And I know that a lot of people say to me, I get really tired, especially if I'm on the computer, if I'm trying to stay focused. Most of the time, dehydration is actually where everybody needs more focus, is getting more water. So most people are underfed and underhydrated, and that is where we are losing a lot of our energy. And we want good energy. I want you to be focused. So making sure that you're eating right and drinking enough water while you're on the computer is super important for keeping your energy up really high. These are the habits, though, that we teach alongside your mindset. So you always fall back to your weakest system, which is your habits. And so that's what, if I have a bad week or an off week, or you have a lost week, I want to know that I'm always going to fall back onto my weakest system. And my weakest system is moving out my emotions. I'm moving out stress. I'm moving out body pains from sitting at the computer. I am making sure that I'm drinking enough water. I'm eating enough food for energy. So if I have all those root things as habits, and those don't have to be my struggle bus, because I'm taking such good care of myself, and that helps me spin up quick, right? We're recovering fast when we take really good care of ourselves. And it's not all or nothing, and it's not extreme. It's just sometimes boring consistency, but that boring, slow consistency
gets us paid.
That's the best.
Boring, consistent trading gets us paid.
Yeah.
I think that's very true in trading. And I think that's true for all of our habits. And I think what she's talking about with the nutrition and water, you guys, is really true, because we've talked about that a little bit, about your brain has to be fueled in order to operate at that, the highest function that we can. If you treat yourself, especially your mind, as a performance athlete, you need to show up ready to run your race when it's trading time. You need to be able to be focused and not distracted. You need rest and hydration and nutrition, because if you're trading with low blood sugar or super dehydrated, your brain just literally, scientifically, neurologically can't fire as fast. And so with day trading, especially today's volatility, holy moly, like you have to be so fast with how you're managing these trades, or it will run you over, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So like setting yourself up for success is not only on having a strong trade strategy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job at BluSky in the psychology department, because there's so much more behind that. Like you need to have a strong strategy. Of course, that's point A, because you have to understand the charts. But then you have to manage your mind. And so that means like setting it up for its best race if you think about being an athlete.
Yeah. Okay. I have to comment because somebody just said, so cut back on the coffee and cocktails. That is so awesome, because I actually have, that's a question that a lot of people ask me when they start training with me is, are you going to make me cut coffee and alcohol? And I always like to say, no, you get to listen to your own body and remember that vision of who we visualize that you are. If you want that person to be that healthy, happy, fit, strong, successful person, and you know that cocktails fit in there and coffee fits in there, and you still feel incredible, then isn't that great? Doesn't that bring freedom when you don't have to cut? We're not a cut process. We're adding in, we're stacking habits. You talked about atomic habits.
Yeah.
We're stacking habits. So that is where I like to just teach, what is it doing for you? What is it doing for your energy? Is it bringing you down, or does it boost you up? Does it give you that time, blue sky time, where you are enjoying your success and then you feel good about it and then you get to go out and celebrate? Then we want to keep it, because that's fun. But I always work hard on my system, on my lowest system. I always ask myself, is this a vote for me, or is this not working for me? So if alcohol is not working for me and I have a whiskey hangover and I can't do a great workout in the morning, and that leads to not thinking clearly, I'm probably not going to do that. Right.
Right.
But if and same with coffee. If I can't sleep at night because I drink too much coffee, and then I wake up tired and groggy, and then I'm not thinking clearly, then I'm not going to do that. But if it works and I can fit it in, if I can stack it in and I feel great, and I have all of my other base layer boring habits, like my sleep is priority. If I have everything else working for me, then I get to have freedom, and it's really fun.
Yeah. I do think people do underrate sleep, because sometimes, you guys know, I work overnight call shifts at the hospital. And so if I do that on the trading day, which I've backed off from those, but if I get called in, I have a hard rule where I can't trade the next morning, because I go to sleep at 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, depending on the case. And so like there are certain rules that I know that when I flux on them and I'm like, I'm sure I'm tired, but I'm awake anyway because of the kids, I'm just going to trade really quick, then I just lose money almost always. So like, learn yourself, right? And like, I mean, I think alcohol is something to think about, because there are days when sometimes I'm like, I could use a shot after this trading session, not gonna lie, but I don't. And if I do have a sip that night, if it's a trading day the next morning, I won't have more than one, because again, I need to wake up feeling strong and ready to go, because I always trade market open, and we're West Coast. And so I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and I don't have any time in my life to feel gross about that. Yeah. So yeah, I think moderation and do the things that serve you is a lesson of like, if you know you like to sip, if you know you want coffee in the morning, just like make sure that it fits with your life and doesn't damage your goals, because then what's more important, 3 cups of coffee or your goals of that, millionaire plus veteran trader in 10 years? Like that's that whole walk it back and think about what you're doing now and who that is building. And yes, Ace, we brought double ruler, so you're welcome. Save this one for later in case you need.
But it's not having to think I have to cut that out. I don't think I have to cut that out. I have to lose that. I focus on what I get to gain. And so everything is I get to. If I want to see more muscle, if I want to see a better schedule, if I want to think more clearly, if I want better sleep, I'm looking at all of I'm aware. I'm learning. I'm like studying my habits, like you guys study a chart, and I'm studying, okay, turns out 3 p.m. coffee is not doing me right. It turns out that I need to cut carbs in the evening because I sleep better with fats and protein. Turns out, like, I want you to get to know yourself so well that you treat yourself as if you are the billionaire CEO. I don't want you to wait until, like, people are like, oh, well, I understand that they're the CEO or the multimillionaire has a life coach and they have a personal trainer and they have they have these self-taught coach or trainers working for them. I want you to act like that now, because, and that's where in my program, especially, I like working with people that are not there yet. They're on their way there, but they're like, I want those resources available to me. And maybe I can't afford a $10 million trainer, even though you get one, but I want those resources available to me now. I don't want to have to wait until I'm an Olympian to get one. I don't want to have to wait until I'm a CEO to get all these resources. I want to start practicing as if I'm already that. And people that live at a really high level, that are functioning super high, that are crushing all their goals, they're going to bed. They're eating right. They're moving their bodies. They're making sure that all these things are non-negotiables. And that's what takes them there. Well, that's what keeps them there. So that is available for all of us.
Yeah, I think we have to treat it like more than just like we talked yesterday with Matt about like hard rules have to be like leverage, size, and risk management for a given day. But then neurologically, psychologically, you also want to think about what sets you up for the best days. And if you know the way that you feel and the things that you're carrying into your trading session generally tend to lead to worse trading sessions or better trading sessions, you've got to try and adjust your life around that. And if something's going on outside of your control, such as a major life event or something happened that you are destabilized, that's a day to just literally not even open your charts, because the market really is abundant. There is good opportunities every day if we can just be patient and recognize that you don't have to build it all in one session. It's much better to like perform at your peak and then let the rest kind of work itself out, because we have plenty of time to build, especially if we're doing it like with the patience too. And I think that's the whole long game mentality, because you don't have to build everything in a short order of time. And it's much more sustainable long term if you change who you are at your heart with your actions every day, because even on a losing day, you're fine because you're still growing through that. Mm-hmm. Right? And long game.
Yeah, I love the long game. If every single person would call me and say, hey, I'm willing to give this a year, I would say, all right, we can do some serious identity shifting here, and we can really change your entire brain to work for you. But if you call me and you're like, I want a big, sexy, attractive offer, and I only want it to take a week.
It's a wedding in 2 weeks, Amy.
I understand the serious motivation there, but it is almost disheartening when you're not willing to say, I'm doing this because I want to become this person. I want to work with somebody who wants to become that person that is, a rock and sustainable, and they feel safe, secure, and loved, and every day is calm, and they just keep showing up for themselves. That's the person that we're going to meet living a very good retirement in 40 years or 10 years, because they were just willing to be consistent and steady and just show up and do the same boring things. Some people say it's boring. I actually think it's thriving. I love a good boring life.
Good example. And you guys, we have Amy for just 20 more minutes. So if you have questions for her, leave them in the chat now. We're watching and we can answer your questions live time for the second half of this. But I love what you just said about your habits being boring, because if you guys watch Mike in the morning, he talks to that. That is how he became who he is. Like, he doesn't trade all day. He doesn't recommend that. He has told us all that in the beginning, he was in love with the charts and spent night and day learning. And he was learning from different mentors and got himself in different rooms and like really grew exponentially early in his career. And then once he started to have an established system, he would take 1 or 2 trades in the morning, lock in his green. He wouldn't chase it. He wouldn't have FOMO. He would let go, get off the charts, and like have a full, beautiful life. So much so that he could create this company of Blue Sky because he had the time and money and passion to expand into other areas. And so if we can like back it off into just trying to settle into like just doing really good and not try to shoot for the moon all the time, because then you are at risk of tilting. Like, if you constantly strive for the extremes, with your body, you could get injured, but with your accounts, you could really mess yourself up by having a big win and then shooting for a big win by over leveraging and giving it all back and then some and getting that margin call. So, consistency really is what matters. Then you can start trade copying, grow your accounts, have multiple accounts, take multiple payouts. And so there's so much more potential if you lock into consistent habits.
Doing everything slow with consistency. So I would rather someone start and say, okay, this week I'm going to move my body and do my PT, because that's just what I'm going to use, for my back for 10 minutes a day. I would rather Becky do her 10 minutes of PT a day than go, I'm going to come all in. I'm going to give it all. I'm going to put everything all together and then burn out after a week. I would much rather build on success just like that and make it where it's something that you're not thinking starting or stopping.
Ooh, let's use me as an example while they're thinking of their questions, because literally that happened to me. When I started streaming with you guys more, I found myself sitting at my desk more than I ever had because I'm a nurse and a mom of young children. And then trading put me in a seat so much that my back who I've injured a couple of times, was really acting up because I was cutting out my workouts more so I could be prepared for streaming and like work on my presentations and stuff. And so I was encountering back pain. And then I would like, if I can't do a full hour of workout, I wasn't doing nothing. And so then I had to figure out like, my back hurts because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Don't tell my trainer.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What are the things that you need to do to take care of yourself with excellence? And we make those your non-negotiables before we add on to your career. So even if and then I'll have somebody say, well, this is easy for you because that is your career. Well, it's not. It is not that easy. But I have to go, okay, well, what makes me show up as a speaker or an author or whatever else I have on my vision board? I have to make my habits a non-negotiable. That is absolutely the difference between someone who's successful and someone who cannot grow with new success, is that I'll have somebody, we're going to use a Miss Universe, somebody I trained. They received this incredible instant success, right? And then lost habits in the process. So those weren't really non-negotiables. They was falling back to the weakest system. And so like that, getting really busy, seeing opportunity and being like, I'm going to add to my schedule. And now all of a sudden taking care of myself falls to the back burner. Well, what happens when taking care of yourself falls to the back burner, even though taking care of yourself got you to where you are now? Then pain comes, then pain starts, right? Mm-hmm. And discomfort starts, and your physical body starts breaking down. And then you're thinking about your pain while you're sitting, trying to work on the next project, or while you're busy traveling because you put it on the back burner. And so I had to really go to, I go to Becky. We will use you as an example. So, or you could be Mrs. Universe.
All the above. Yes, I'll do both.
But going and saying, okay, I recognize that me being in less pain or doing the 10 minutes and removing my pain is much more valuable than the 10 minutes that I am spending trying to create a new script or trying to write today's podcast.
Yeah. 100%. It was a big deal. I remember my back got so aggravated like 2 months ago that I spoke to my neurosurgeon and I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, what's the situation? We talked out and he's like, well, I was like, I know that it's because I'm sitting at my desk more, because there's a direct correlation of it. It was getting worse and worse with me being less physically active during the day. And he's like, what's your plan? And so anyways, I was like, oh God, now I feel like why am we even talking? Because changing that habit of like, if I can't do a full workout, it's not a big deal. Like I could easily stretch and do the main base PT, and then I would feel so much better. And so it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be, you do the habits that get you to at least baseline health, and then you can expand upon those as you can flex. Like right now I'm flexing into the business part of things, but I can't backslide on the health part because what would that look like if I had to have back surgery because I really mismanaged it? That would take me back from everything that I've built. You can equate that to trading, where if you have been building up your account slowly with like really consistent, steady, boring trades where you lock in reasonable gains, most days you lock in small losses because you contain at your risk, and then you have the grand slam days. But then if you really just mess up and you let all your habits go out the window, you can give back in multiple accounts that you have built over months of good trading by letting those negative habits take you back under. So it's so much better to like lock into like the consistent things that keep you steady, whether it's physical or if it's trading, because when we know what keeps our accounts safe and our mental health safe, that's what we have to prioritize. And that's what actually gets us to the outcomes, is that consistency.
Yep. And here's the good news about self-talk though, because yes, getting down on the ground and giving me a couple exercises, which will improve your back and will take away your pain, makes you feel better all day, does take time and effort. What doesn't take any time or effort is listening to self-talk audio. I do have to say that. And so that's what I absolutely love about it, is that the person sitting at the desk that hasn't felt good about themselves physically or hasn't believed in their ability to succeed when it comes to quick thinking and how they were programmed. The coolest part about reprogramming your neuroplasticity and your self-talk is that you can just listen. So while you have all these other things going on, or even say you can't listen because you're tuned into something while you're trading, you're on the phone with somebody else, you can still wake up and the first 5 minutes of your day sets the tone for the entire day. So I have people, so on my app, I have Fit app, I have people hit play on the self-talk immediately when they wake up. So rather than going to the news or social media as their first thing, even if you're tempted, you might want to look at the stocks first second of the day. But if you can create the discipline that has you hit play on self-talk audio from a different voice, that's me, then your brain believes it faster because it's not you trying to convince yourself of a new pattern. You're hearing it from a new voice, which is teaching you a new language, which is positive self-talk. Listening to the first 5 minutes of your day requires no effort. I'm listening while I wake up and I'm getting dressed, so I'm not having to overthink, but I'm programming my brain as I do things. And that makes it so easy to go in the direction of my future because my brain then is set up to say, I believe in myself. I know I can do this. I'm strong, happy, peaceful, and blessed. And that's how I start my day. And there are a lot of people that use it even midday. So they get off the phone and they have a 12 o'clock where that's their witching hour, where you start to feel tired, or you start to struggle, or you get just tired enough that your self-belief starts to slip. That's when I have people hit play on self-talk so that it actually boosts them up. And when we train your brain, you are becoming your own best cheerleader. That's the goal. That's why she's such a cheerleader now. That's why she's so good at it, is because she's trained her mind to become her own best cheerleader. And then it passes on and goes forward. So that's what I really love about self-talk and psychology of neuroplasticity, is that it takes no effort. It just takes complete awareness of your thoughts, awareness of the self-talk that's working for you. And if your brain is not working for you, then it's definitely time to plug in. And then my psychologist that I learned from is Dr. Shad Helmstetter. And he said that there is no such thing as too much positivity or training your brain too much, because you have a purpose right here to use it every single day. So it would only be fake positivity, I guess I would say, if you weren't actively using it. But you are going to use this positive self-talk that you're reprogramming your brain with every single day with every new trade, because you're believing with confidence. You know that you can do this. And so there is no such thing as too much positive self-talk. So even if you're really positive already, you can still plug in, still learn the language of positive self-talk and keep using it. We're never too confident.
No. Yeah. I think the whole idea of like positive toxicity is BS, because I think I would speak for all of us, that we're constantly having to counterbalance the pull towards negative self-doubt and fear and anxiety and worry. And so to counterbalance that, you have to shoot high to find yourself in the middle ground, at least with some consistency. And so to constantly believe in yourself, and not even outlandishly too, of like, we talk about like, you're here because you're dedicated. Like the fact that you show up to these labs and these conversations and with BluSky, and you're building friends within the community and you're thinking about these things, that's putting forth effort to who you're going to become. And so to say that you're going to become this excellent trader over time, you're showing up for that. So that's not at all positivity. That's calling your future towards you now, because of who you are and how you're acting, and how Tiffany, literally, this is the middle of her sleep time because she works during the night, and she set an alarm to get up to be here because she's so dedicated to becoming an excellent trader over time and to achieving all of our goals. That work is now. And so constantly having it in your mind. And I love the idea of self-talk. And I have definitely videos from Amy and myself that I listen to that remind me, like we all could use reminders to say like, I have come a long way. Like think about where I was a year or 2 or 3 or 4 ago. I'm such a different trader by now. This experience has compounded. Like look at all that I have learned and how I have grown. And I'm so thankful for all the things. When that is something that you hear all the time, when it comes back to you, you get to it quicker. You fall back into that habit pattern quicker. At least I do, of when like I hear this self-talk and it's like, yeah, all right, I'm good. Like it was a lesson day. I've had way worse days. I know more now. I know what I did wrong. I got it. I'm going to bed early tonight.
Yeah.
And then I do. And then the next day is better. So it doesn't take a whole week to reset after a potential tilt or a hard trading day. It can take just an hour or 2 or an overnight sleep. The next day you're ready because it's faster.
Yeah, that's a spin up. Do you guys do check-ins? Do you do check-ins like where you can reflect on what went best the last week?
We have talked about that, but there is an established system because BluSky primarily is just the prop funding, and then we have new streams. And so I don't know, you guys, should we do more of that?
Well, what I really love about a check-in, and I have Becky do check-ins with me. I have my clients do check-ins with me because that's exactly what I want. Is I want, not only are we constantly forward focused, that's what life coaching is we're thinking about the future. We're going towards the person we identify as now. But doing check-ins is so awesome because then you remember who you were. Like, I actually think that's a gift to be able to look back in a year and go, dang, this is who I was like dreaming of. This is what I was writing out I wanted to be. And every week I reflected on what went best. And it's like a collection of wins. I'm sure you guys you can see wins every week, right?
Yeah.
But just like adding up your little micro wins so that you have those moments where you go back that you say, no, wait, this does work for me. Whenever you start to doubt or, belief starts to slip, you go, I have evidence that this is working for me.
Yeah, I think that that's great. And we do, you guys know that the coaches are available all the time. And so Breezy has mentioned this in his labs, and so has Matt and Justin and I, of like, you guys can really reach out at any point. And I think that that really should be more part of the culture. And our chat on Discord, I know on YouTube, we only have the chat while we're streaming, but in Discord all the time, you guys can ping us and let us know, because I think that there's so much value in community. We've talked about that, about people who speak your same language and who understand what you're going through. That's your safe place to let it out and to say, this went really well. This is an area that I want to improve on. People will have tips and support, and that is kind of shores you up. Because I think having a good community, a good coach really helps remind you that you're okay, that you're on the right path, and this is just a day.
Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, whenever there's a struggle, I've experienced that struggle 70,000 times. So for one person that might seem like a really tough struggle, I've been through it so many times that I know how to spin you out of this quickly. I know what the solution is really quick, so you don't have to do it on your own, or it's not like this thing that you're trying to like research and navigate how to do it better, but somebody that's already have that experience. That's why you're waking up and studying people that are doing it before you. That's the best. That's the best.
I think it pulls you out of negativity too, because I think we're hardest on ourselves, which is something that I've had to learn to knock it off with, because I think self-doubt and fear and self-deprecating thoughts are really damaging, more so than I think we would recognize. Because when you want to hold something down and isolate and be shameful about such as a trading day, that's really dangerous to your mental health in so many ways. But you actually recover way slower by sitting in that shame and isolation. Mm-hmm. So by having a safe person or two to just let it out, automatically the pain cuts down at least by half. And then that person can usually say, I have been there. Like the traders in this chat that I've had some direct conversation with, like every time if one of them has a hard day, 100% I've done that so many more times because I've been a trader longer than a few of them. Like, been there, like this is normal. This is what it takes to get to the other side. And so try and give yourself some grace. And I think, I don't know if you know that, but I think, or you think that, but like the shame and isolation, choosing that route hurts way more, is dangerous, and slows you down in your growth.
Well, I think that's the fastest way to quit.
Yeah.
Is the shame. But remember, that's just thoughts. That's just repeating thoughts, where shame is that's been programmed as a go-to. And some people, you'll see people, every once in a while I see somebody that's a bigwig that uses shame to thrive. I don't love that. I don't think that works really well. I don't think that's a good long-term approach. I think that's just reprogramming of your brain. So if you we're supposed to capture those thoughts, and I want to capture shame. I want to capture guilt. And I want to quickly have a script or something that I say to myself that spins me around quickly. So that's the replace. So we have to have something that replaces our stinking thinking. When we have any thoughts of wanting to say, screw it, guilt, or I feel bad, or shame, whatever it is. And it doesn't matter if it's business or, what you just put in your mouth, whatever it is. I want you to have something that's programmed so strong on repetition that you have that one thought that spins you up. So of course I can do this. I am strong, happy, peaceful, and blessed. I have to have one thought, but the only way to replace it is to have it really memorized. And that's repeating it over and over and over, but have something, because that is all that's all shame is. It's just thoughts. Yeah. Right. But I think it can either spin you way down, or you can capture it and go, oh, I'm so glad that I get over that quicker.
Yeah, like the awareness of like, this is just hurting me more. Yeah. So like, I got to call it out of the shadows and say something different and and I think moving your body too, like saying it out loud, writing it, going for a walk, letting it out. I'm a nurse, so I think of like a charge, like dump the charge. Like you got to let go of like the anxiety that you're holding that's building up. If you can just start to diffuse that and let it go, you can spin up and like, think about that more.
Yeah, there's a lot of science that actually shows though that by moving our body, that's the only way to actually move emotions out. Move stress out is actually you have to move your body. So if you can imagine, if I don't move my body, if I stay stuck, this stays with me. And so that makes it really motivating to get out or go for a walk or pause and do 5 minutes of body movement, because the faster you can move, you are moving it out. So if you think about someone that might struggle with depression, or, somebody's got a hold on them, I need to move it out so that it's moving out of my body so that I am releasing it. It makes it so much faster to spin up.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I think maybe I knew that, but now that you're seeing it, I think she's totally right. Like, have you guys done that where you've had a terrible day and you just get outside and you move your body, that you automatically start feeling better?
Everyone does. Everyone does. Rain or shine, even though I like the shine.
Yeah. But even rain sometimes is cathartic of like, wash it off me.
Yeah, that's right. That's so awesome.
You guys, you can see why I brought Amy on, because she actually is a tremendous wealth of knowledge, and the experience that has created this person, also built over time. I imagine she didn't speak this eloquently on these important topics when she was an early trader. So trader.
I trade fat cells for a living.
Yeah. Help me continue your work.
Yeah, thank you.
But thank you guys. And if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll ping Amy in this. You guys know these are recorded, and then I'll post them on YouTube later today. You can watch it back, and then you can put comments in there, and Amy can watch it and respond to those as well. And if we need to have her back another day, maybe we need to have her back another day.
Love it. Yeah.
But thank you guys for being here. And Tina, and thank you for coming. Tiffany, thank you for waking up, not joining AIDS. I'm sorry about the ruler, but I'm not sorry.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you for comments. Yeah, let me know any questions you have. It is a massive deal, your thoughts. It's your entire life. And then it also can be so simplified. So just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, I think the thoughts that run in our mind actually have a tremendous power over what we actually do. And it's so easy to click buttons on the computer and lose a lot of money really fast. And so that's why I wanted to have her on today, because I think we need to take this seriously, of recognizing what is going on in the background of our actions is a big deal. And if you guys really believe me and put energy behind that, it will change your outcomes, because it changes the way you behave in a subtle way, but builds over time with the repetition. So,
and keep hanging out with her, because she's positive. We need to hang out with people that are positive. It's so good.
It's true.
You're the best.
Aw, thanks. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you go, but I will be back in just 5 minutes with Power Hour. We're gonna turn on the charts and see if we can find any trades to close out this day. It was volatile earlier, so I'm super curious what's happening now. Thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys in just a few minutes. Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for hanging with me for Psych Lab. That was so fun. I'm glad I got to share one of my prized possessions with you, my girl Amy. It's so fun. Justin, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you being here with me.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Matt had an appointment he had to run too, so I couldn't leave my girl Becky hanging. So we're gonna tag team Power Hour, see if we can make some money in this interesting day. I'll call it an interesting day. I don't know. What have you thought about the market so far?
It was kind of wild this morning, to be honest. Like it moved real fast this morning, but then it really hasn't done anything. So it moved fast, but it hasn't produced. Which is
this morning was crazy. That CPI candle chop, and then Trump news, and then Trump news again, and then double tops, double bottoms everywhere. It's crazy day.
What is the news? Can you just catch me up really quick on what happened?
Well, the news on the pump around 10-11 was the Strait is open again.
Okay, that's here.
I don't know if anything's come out since. I haven't really traded since I finished at noon. But I know it was downside Trump news and then upside Trump news from what I remember. Oh, wait, no. There was the Fed chairman was speaking to Congress at 10. That was the drop, and then the recovery was some Trump news.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. The March was doing his reporting. Okay, yeah. I mean, it was interesting. Definitely.
And it's funny how
What's that?
I was gonna say it's funny how the Trump news always comes out at a major support level.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah, that CPI was this
what a coincidence
pump here, and then it slid back, which we often see with the news, right? Is like never ever chase a news candle. Like that is a cardinal rule in my life, because this slide back after news candles is way more common than continuation. Of course, continuation happens, but it's way more common to see this slide back, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And then since then, I mean, it's just been back and forth and back and forth. If you're a breakout trader, you've had a bad day.
Yeah, because taking the breakout would get you killed here. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
did you trade it all today?
Sliding down. I did. I traded full size. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I didn't trade heavy. But let me show you what chaos I got.
Well, you're on a 300K account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have some wiggle room. Yeah, but I traded small size in the minis. I used to trade minis for the last couple of years, and then I downsized to micros, and so sometimes it just depends on the setup and how I'm feeling. But I just decided to trade small on the this morning, and so this I saw this pullback here at open, right, and it came back down, and this purple line here, you guys know Breezy has talked about it, value areas. I trade value areas, and so these purple lines here are my value area low, point of control, and value area high. And so this morning we saw a slide back down, almost tagged perfectly to my point of control, and it tagged VWAP, and then there was some bullish regression. So I could not be involved in that. And so I went long in here when it held. And then I took it up, and I was aiming for this HVA, but it did not go there. And so I was snugging up my stop loss, and then I got out up here. And then I took some of the short, but that was stopped out because I thought we were breaking momentum down. So when this broke, I tried for the short and took a stop out. But then again, I felt like it was holding on VWAP as well as my point of control. It was holding the support from overnight and the lows. And so I got in again long, and I took it up to my point of control, or my value area high. So that was a really sick win. Yeah. I don't know if we should talk about what's going on right now, though, because we're kind of fading back inward, you guys. This is the high of the CPI, and then we're just rejecting off of the tops up here around this area from yesterday. And so if anyone were taking a trade, I would be cautious on trying for the long side again. And if anything else, I think we're getting set up for another potential tag of VWAP, because that has been on ES, especially 3 times. It has been the support, and that often is something that we are headed towards in Power Hour. Put out the reversal beautiful this morning. Nice, Dakota. Good job. Yeah, says shoulders.
Gold is looking pretty bearish too.
Let's look at the other ones right now. Yeah, let's see what gold is doing. Ooh.
But today is you. I'm surprised. Well, you did your cycle lesson today, but this seems like a day that you'd be loving with these reversion trades.
Yeah, I love reversion trades. I actually had a dermatology appointment, so I traded morning, and then I was out of my house, and then I was getting ready, and my girl Amy came over early, and so yeah, all I got to do is trade the open today, because I do love some mean reversion. This is a very interesting look for longs off gold.
If it's going to continue, yeah.
Yeah, if it holds,
it's an interesting spot.
Oh, it's a very interesting spot. Because this messed around here, turn, made a higher high nicely overnight, came back, pushed up with CPI, little double top action. But then this is a very interesting area for it to hold here along this blue support line and within the buyer's zone. Everything has been above VWAP, and now we're sat on VWAP, and it's seeming to hold here over the last 20 minutes. But it, coming back and making a higher low on VWAP would be a good look too.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I'm not a reversion trader. I started a 50K orbit challenge with everybody, like I talked about, and I would get in, I hit TP1, TP2, and then boom, smacked it right to break even. So the session, like, they were all winning trades, but I was only up a few $100s by the end of it. But It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is in deal talk. When you are managing your risk, you can't, shooting for home runs is like a tricky situation, because that means you have to hold a really long time. And markets like these are really tricky to hold a long time, because that wouldn't have worked for the longs. It wouldn't have worked for the shorts. I mean, just by looking at the price action, it's not a day to hold long term.
Yeah, I mean, I saw 30, 40 points each time, took a little trim, but I was trying to get because if the breakout would have happened, it would have been an absolute monster of a play. But then I did flip short and catch some of the reversion trades. So like we talked about, being dynamic in the market.
Yeah. Head and shoulders fair value gap. Yeah, I think we're coming down on both of them. And I kind of miss the entry here on a short. Is anyone in this short right now? I definitely would be cautious on the long, because we're third time rejecting on NQ. I think fourth time on ES for the slide down. And then we're back. This is yesterday's value area. This is value area high. So we're still sitting on top of it. But then again, that's a nice confluence as well for support of this value area high from yesterday in confluence with VWAP here. I want to see if we can get some of this piece of this, but the entry is not amazing. I wonder if it will come back up to retest this breakout here and let the 9 moving average kind of get on top of it. Might be a good look for a potential opportunity to join the short direction here. The way that it kind of rolled over here, I don't love the look of a long to end out this day. Yeah, it does look head and shouldery for sure, in which case we're high up in this left shoulder. And so there's definitely some momentum to the downside. It's just, how can we join it here? It's giving push up. So it might give a fill here. I'm not going to trade too heavy because I did have a good morning. I'm kind of coming in after being in a different headspace for the psych lab. But a lot of you guys were in the psychology lab today. Thank you for coming. That was my girl Amy was just my literal training coach. She lives in the same town as me. And I realized over time that I was becoming a better trader for listening to her. And so like, it's true about the repetition and thinking about like doing the best thing for whatever you're pursuing creates good outcomes. So anyways, here's a fun guest. All right, can you pick me up? Come on.
This 800-ish area to 810, 815 has been just a massive pivot level all day. So I love that entry.
What did I put it at? 808 is where I put my entry on this, the wick of this other previous pivot there. Where it broke through with some strength on this last 5-minute candle.
Exactly. The only thing with this price action is you don't know when that wick's going to get you in, so you have to be patient.
Yeah. And it's like I kind of want to join now because I really feel like this could get filled here in the next 50 minutes.
Yep.
But I also don't.
I agree. I did the same thing. I missed a couple entries and then just like I was like, I should just mark it in and it would have worked out, but got to follow the rules, right?
Yes.
It was actually the same. It was the same setup that I missed this morning.
I saw part of your chat where you were like, I was wondering if it was a missed entry or a missed target.
Oh, no, that was annoying because I said I was only going to trade the orbit while I was on stream. And I was like, oh, stream's over. Let me get out of it. But this will dump 50 points in the next 3 minutes when I get off. And don't you know, 3 to 5 minutes later, 50-point dump.
And of course, the direction you're trying to trade, right? You want 810, 781. Yeah. I like that. Are you trying to get into, Jonathan? If it goes up to 810, are you in yet or no? I'm not in yet. I don't know what possessed me to trade NQ this morning. I traded, but I think it's because I was looking at both and look at this. Like it was, my NQ trade was really nice. I'm just a little irritated because I didn't hold it long enough, but I got in when it turned on VWAP too. Like it poked below, it held, it was a beautiful hold. And so then I got in this candle, and then I scaled out at the top of this area here. I scaled out, and then I was holding one for higher, and it just ticked me out. And then it went higher. But anyways, that was a really good win on NQ.
Today has been a pretty tough day after, with all the choppiness and stuff. I checked out a few other, streamers and stuff like that. And all of them were saying the same thing. They all had low P&Ls. They all barely took any trades. So if you're out there and you thought this was a hard day to read, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think yesterday was challenging for me. And today is not that dissimilar, where it's really kind of wonking around. And I think we talked with Matt yesterday in the podcast and in Power Hour about how there's so much coming up with CPI this morning. It was some interesting news, but then also, just tag me in, with the earnings season just starting. I mean, there was some banks that announced today, but it's the very beginning of earnings season. So I think there's more sideways action right now. Yeah.
And, especially the NQ's been just consolidating for 2 weeks. So
yeah,
hopefully some of this catalyst will take us out of here.
Yeah. Okay, so it just picked me up for like half of a position here. I just did 2 minis while I'm still orienting my mind. I'm gonna place my stop and see what kind of risk that holds. I'm gonna go just above this last 5-minute candle, which would be 835 on that stop. But that's nicely above the 90 EMA, and kind of, it's not fully above this consolidation that we broke through. It's like middle ground-ish. Let me see what the 15-minute looks like.
So tomorrow is the big earnings day. We got ASML, BlackRock, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, PNC.
Yeah.
I think New York Mellon there. That's a big one.
Yeah, and then I think Taiwan Semiconductors was Thursday morning, and so I think
that's a massive one. I mean, that thing goes nuts on earnings. If that's anything like last earnings report, buckle up.
They were a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they just been blowing it through the water. I think they spiked like 15%. The Nas went crazy. So, and then the next few weeks are just gonna real earnings seasons with the big boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious what will happen. I think I'm gonna. I kind of want to give it this 15-minute retest here. And then it's for small size, so everyone needs to make their choices on their risk management based on their size and position. I only got in for half position, so I'm going to give it this 15-minute candle to give it a little bit of time, because it could pop from that.
I've had 825 marked for a while in this zone, so that's kind of the area I'm looking for, which I think we just stopped now.
Just about right on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, which lines up with VWAP, so I like that.
That's 90 EMA.
Well, whatever. One of the things that works.
It's touching the line.
I don't have them on my chart, so I just assume it's one of them.
I never had a moving average, to be honest with you, and well, not for a long time until Matt. But then, like, just watching it and responding to it and streaming with him so often, like now I look at it.
No, it works.
Well, I like it because it's a dynamic flow of the market, and it's often it's a soft support or a soft resistance. And so we can wick through it, but closures matter. But then I love VWAP, especially for Power Hour. I use VWAP a lot less in the beginning of the day, but for Power Hour, it's often a support or a target. And so I do love my VWAP in Power Hour, because I think we can take this whole distance here. Market loves a mean reversion at the end of the day. Not always, but sometimes. But this is definitely a very key area right here. We'll see if it breaks and closes above, then this is not the trade, and it could go higher. But right here, it could easily reject anywhere in here, and I'll be interested in adding a little bit. But I'm going to give it just maybe another 5-minute candle and see what it does here. I did get a half size in, so I would like to add 2 more contracts right now, honestly, but I want to give it a little bit of space here to see what it's going to do in this consolidation and on top of the 9 EMA.
Yeah, this is the kind of market where layering in makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because you're wicking a lot on both sides. It's very, very choppy. We were talking about it yesterday. In the choppy market, you can take the same trade 15 times. How do you know when it's going to actually make the move? So, I mean, layering in, start with your aggressive position, end with your conservative one, be full position. And, just hope it works out.
Yeah, exactly. And wait for a retest. If you see, like, if you like the look of this break here, instead of shorting down here, at least wait for some retest and then see what happens. And if it just wicks you and continues on, then you can add as it's moving. But if it wicks you and it does this, then you want to only be in for half, because then you're only in for half risk if your stop gets taken. And you have a little bit more wiggle room with giving it this space, you know, versus my stop right here is my tight risk management. My stop here on the 15-minute closure or wick is a little bit more room, and I'm comfortable with a little bit more room because of the sizing that I chose to start with. And so that's a big, you know, explanation of how I like to layer in, because I want to be able to give it a few minutes to sort it out and take out other people's tight stops if it needs to. But then if it's doing wicks like this, that's a good look for me, and I'm still in, because if my stop was right on the tip of this 5-minute candle, I would be out. And I don't think the trade has proved to me it's not working yet.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
Coming along. We'll see what she does.
How's everybody out in the chat doing? Everybody green? Everybody survived today? I know this morning I saw a lot of people, you know, saying they blew some accounts, but don't feel bad at all. That this morning was ugly, guys. Like,
yeah.
Go back and look at like the 3-minute chart from the open. It is gross.
Yeah, I was in that, and it was tricky because it was tricky. Let's look, just because we got time here. That's terrible. Right here, right? Oh no. Yeah, this is really dangerous.
Yeah, it's that's just traps on traps. That's what I was saying. Breakout traders are like, oh, okay, it's gonna break out to the top. Nope. Oh, bottom. Nope.
This is not good. I traded ES. Let me see how ES looks differently right
now. Yeah,
I'm
curious. I didn't look at ES this morning.
I think it was smoother. Like I didn't feel like it was as much garbage, but maybe I would just tolerated it. Okay, I don't know. Oh, this. Okay, so because I caught this short and then I caught this long. So it was smoother. Like this is the short it open and then the long, and then it did dance around here a lot. But these two moves is what I traded first, and they were smooth, but they also happened very fast. Like that was
quick.
Yeah. That fall at open was kind of volatile. And then the immediate reclaim, like you being upside down that or trying to get in the short after this close was obviously very dangerous, because it very rapidly took back the entire movement. And then if you wanted to trade continuation, it didn't allow that. Oh yeah. These days have not been easy in my experience. Like yesterday, I really struggled with open, and today went a little better, but like it's not, these haven't been like the smoothest days in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? I even said it yesterday. Until we break out, it's see money, take money, TP1, TP2. But I was on an eval this morning, so I was like, let's full send it. And I should have stuck with the plan I talked about.
Yeah, it's a great example of like not every day is going to be like a beautiful, sick trend day that you can hold for all the days. So
we haven't had one in a while, honestly. One of those, unless you get in really early, it's going to be a kind of rough day. I will say though, overall, I'm looking at like the 4-hour chart. It looks pretty damn bullish to me.
On which time frame?
The 4-hour.
Oh, geez, that was like very bullish. Look at this buying wick off of the supports thing. They like got up under it and then it like pushed nicely. But then today has been like, like this is the 4-hour, but like these bodies right here are today. Like there was a lot of yesterday was a big day, and with the push down, and then overnight was really kind of a steady climb up. And so intraday today is really quite tight. Yeah,
no kidding. I mean, if you're a scalper, if you're like a 1-minute warrior, a 3-minute warrior, you might have had a good day. But, the people that like to get in position and kind of chill and hold, tough day. I don't know if you saw, but Mike caught the bottom today.
Yeah.
That was amazing. A killer trade.
What the heck is it? Trying to messing around with my things. Oh, there they are. I want to put my initial balance on my chart here, which I didn't get done earlier because I had an appointment. I think we went right above it or below it. I apologize, you guys, if my charts are too messy, but I like having my value areas on there, and then I like having the point of control, and now it just has my fill, so a little messier. This is initial bounce high. Oh no, that's after. Oh, we're above initial bounce high, you guys. This is why I need to be better about drawing my levels in real time. Shoot, I didn't notice that. So on NQ, initial balance high, which was the high of the first opening hour, was 29,820, which is where we're bouncing off of right now, which is very interesting. I missed that, you guys, in my analysis. I don't know that I would have been in the short, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's that level I was talking about, the pivot level.
Because we waked off of the low this morning, but everything has been kind of higher. The VWAP is sloping up. It's kind of pushing up. So this came outside of initial bounce, came back in, came outside, kind of bounced on top of it and is sitting on top of it. So we could get a pump off of this if it wants to print higher today. The 4 hours bullish. We're above the morning initial balance. VWAP is sloping up. So actually, I'm glad I'm only in for half size, because this could be a bullish finish here, because we have been trying to get higher. We haven't even gone to the high of the CPI candle, and we're holding on this opening range.
It is a pretty massive bull flag if you take almost the full day too.
Yeah.
But it's getting tighter and tighter. Literally, the flag is going to end after market close, which is never fun, because that means we're going to chop sideways.
Dang it. That's what is tricky for me sometimes when I come in after my psychology lab, is that I don't do my full process of I don't always do my full process of top down and make sure I have all my morning levels drawn. 10 o'clock with the goats. What up, Hoster?
Yes, I mean, especially if you traded till maybe 10 and then took the next 3-4 hours off.
I did, yeah. And so I totally disconnected the things. And
Hoster has been long for 7 hours.
Ooh, nice. You got in that early VWAP test?
I think it was in at 670, something like that.
Zoom out, Wyckoff on big time frame, April May run. I think that we are in a larger time frame. Let me go to the bigger time frame, because I'm just going to leave my risk where it is on that 15-minute chart, and I would not in any way be surprised if I got stopped out. But I want to look at the larger time frames and back up my process here a little bit. I'm going to respect the risk that I'm in, but dang, on the weekly, this is a total bull flag. That big push we saw all spring that all the bulls were madly in love with, which I get. And now we're totally sideways flagging here. There was a high earlier last month. This is interesting though. I mean, that's it's like penneting, bull pennant almost, which we could stay tight for a little while. I mean, I think summer does have a little bit more of a history of being kind of sideways and obnoxious. Long from 672. Nice. Casual, couple hundred points. Beautiful.
Yep.
Get it. This is an interesting presentation. For me, this is bullish. This is an inverted hammer at the base of this large candle. This one tried to get lower and immediately was bought back up on the weekly last week and pushed stronger. And now we've got a pullback for the start of this week. We got a nice wick on it, but it easily could continue with this bullish trend and be a strong finish to this week. For me, this looks like on the weekly, a potential pushing direction towards a bullish candle. I mean, of course, any game can play. We are only 2/5 of the way, obviously, just about. But if this finished strong and bullish, that would make sense candle pattern wise. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what I just call it, bullish consolidation. It's
like
if you're a swing trader, get in at the bottom or go short at the top. There's the in between is just going to be a bunch of noise, which makes sense why people are going to get chopped up the last few days.
Yeah. Well, look at the freaking daily, right? Oh, this looks like a bullish continuation. Take everyone out. Now it's and you're like, okay, I guess the bears are here. Nope. This is tricky. I think that there's some tricky parts to this situation right now. This is bullish, but also you could get faked out on both sides because it's consolidating. But this was a good look. I mean, this is a strong buying morning star presentation here. And so this yesterday pushed down into this area. makes a lot of sense for a retest of this morning star pattern. And so for this, that's what this is retesting and is clearly responding to. I'm going to put that and draw that. Yeah, this looks good. We could easily get back up to at least retest up here. This made, you know, lower high, higher low, lower high, lower low in this little leg here. But this could be an ABC of the correction. And now for the move up here as well. I mean, this candle right here could be the low of this consolidation for the next leg, which if today continues as it is to be strong, then that could be what we're in. Well, we'll see what happens with this trade. I do see downside based on the head and shoulders and the way we rolled over and the way we couldn't break out earlier. But knowing we were right on this initial balance high and there's been some printing above it does give me some hesitation. However, I'm going to respect the risk that I put on initially with a small size position and this 15-minute range. It's just kind of messing around inside of it. I do love a VWAP tag in the side of a consolidation day for the closeout. But with the larger time frames looking strong and the day looking like a bullish day, it could pop higher. We have 33 minutes left. So there should be one more move. It's just whether or not it will be the reversion or a pop and then a little reversion. You guys have heard me talk many a day about putting a wick on the daily candle during power hour, but that can be honestly the last 3 minutes of the day. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out situation. So we'll see. Let's see what she does here. I am not going to cut my trade because I do still believe in the reasons I got in. I am hesitant on adding though because of the position on the chart. So I would like to see if it could break.
If we had more time, I'd say bullish. I think we're going to run out of time before it happens. So I'm leaning short.
I'm with you
at
on
least into the next few minutes, maybe before the last move. But
yeah,
I just think like the bullish bias I have is off the 4-hour candle, and I don't see that happening in the next 15 minutes. The hourly closed below that like 820 point of control you were talking about. Same with the 30-minute, same with the 15-minute, and the 15-minute just created some selling pressure. But this is why it's difficult, because the 15-minute candle prior created buying pressure, and then this one immediately popped, created selling pressure. So it's kind of giving conflicting views, but we have a rounded top. I mean, I'm short. I'll just say that.
I am too. This structure to me is consolidation. It's not trending. And so I like to go with a continuation move when there's a little bit more momentum to that side. And there has been some momentum to the long side today, but there has been quite a bit of bearish countering. And so for me coming into the end of the day, that shows a weak day for New York session. And so weakness is faded for me. And so that keeps me in favor of the shorts as well, in addition to what you said. So where would I add?
Okay, there we go. See, but this is where it gets like, so I'm up 20 points. Do I take it or do I let it run? This is what's been killing me.
Hold it.
Yeah, so we're hitting the bottom of this. So the bottom trend line would be 790, which we just tapped. If we break through that, I'm gonna be set. But can we break through it? Nice hold though. That was a good hold, Becky.
Huh?
That was a good hold, Becky. A lot of people would have been shaken out by that.
Yeah, it's good to talk it out. Like that's one benefit of live streaming that I'm growing into appreciating, is that it's good to talk it out of like what I like for the long side, what I like for the short side. Do I like my position enough to hold, or what do I think? And there's more on the short side than there was on the long side, but there was enough concern that I didn't choose to get bigger. Now I kind of wish I did.
That's all right. This isn't the day to go for home runs, especially.
No, it really
especially when we're literally smack dab in the middle of all this mess now.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm kind of curious if I drew a fib from the CPI candle, where would the 0.5 be?
Well, I've got BWAP at 708.
We just broke the 0.5. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hunting VWAP. On my other chart, it's at 708. So I'm going to go with that conservative one versus my tradesy one. It's always farther, which is annoying.
What's your VWAP at?
708 is my VWAP on my main charting screen.
Mine's at 685.
Well, mine on Tracy's at 685 as well, but on
Okay.
POS where I do most of my charting, I don't know if which one I should be biased towards. 708, yeah. But I like
what is your guys' VWAP? What's your guys' VWAP at?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. Help. 685 or 708. I like 708 because I get a double confluence because it's also taking out the liquidity of this wick tip here. And so if I had more of a position, I would scale at 708 and then see if I could hold to 685 as well. But I just got a little position. And
689, okay.
Okay.
So we're all in that area.
Thanks,
why are they different? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I am short. A part of it is if you have overnight on. So this is with my overnight on.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the difference.
See, I don't use it, so I don't even think about it.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I think if that's the difference is overnight on or off, it shifts it.
Mine is just auto period.
Yeah.
Interesting. I used to use it a lot, especially when I was scalping options, but it messes with my head for holds.
It messes me up in the morning because it's just not that valid until it gets more of New York session up under it and it helps shape it out. But I feel like it's a lot more valuable for Power Hour because it has all of the data of the session toward the very end that helps give it its slope and its location amongst the price action. And we see if it's been respected or not. And for me, it's more valuable at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Hostler, what's VWAP? Exactly.
Okay. It's not a part of everyone's strategy. I did not know it until I got with the mentor who traded it and I started studying it. And I like it for certain reasons. And like I said, at market open, it is zero value to me for the most part. But honestly, today it really helped me with my longs because it was a good soft dynamic support for the bounce. On ES and NQ, I used it for my longs.
Yeah, Tina, it's going to change slightly, but it shouldn't be a 30-point difference.
Yeah, that 5 points makes sense. Is like basically the same, but 708 is quite a bit different. We'll see what she does now. I think this last 5-minute closing back inside the initial balance, I still feel good about this short. I'm not going to squeeze it to break even though, because I really feel fine with this risk and I want to give it a little bit of time. On NQ, everything that is printing today is above the value area from yesterday, which I caught a lot of Breezy stream last night, and I love how he speaks to like over holding on one side of a value area high or low, because I think that as well. And this one is a prime example of that this morning with the long opportunity, because it did fall pretty hard at open, but both of the two early 15-minute candles closed on top of the value area high from yesterday, which for me is a bullish sign. The sign that price is trying to navigate and find price outside of yesterday's range to the high side. And so this right here would have been a strong buying indication. And that's actually is where I got long in the next candle, because I saw it wick through VWAP as well as the value area high from yesterday. And then all the closures were above it. And so that's definitely a long sign of value migrating to the north side for this early morning long today. There's got to be kind of around where Foster got in. Bouncy day, though. On these bouncy days, I do like the fade move, though. We'll see. There's, buy side pushed today a little bit as well. I think I'm gonna think about moving my stop once I get a strong, like full body underneath my entry. Because this one closes, this 5-minute candle just started.
All right, Becky, Matt just messaged me. He is back, so I'm gonna let him slide on in. But it's been fun hanging out. I still am short in some runners. I'm hoping we break 760 and just slide on down, but pretty much target complete for me on that break. And then we just bounced 25 points. So good luck.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hopping on with me.
Yep, absolutely.
What's up, Matt? Welcome.
What is up?
Hey. High five in virtual reality. I am so good. How are you?
Oh, just getting ready to rock and roll throughout the entire day here today. Enjoying the kickstart to earnings season. Rather enjoy a reduction in inflationary pressure. Get that path to policy on a better policy slant. Enjoying gold holding 4K yesterday. That was beautiful. Enjoying it holding firm today. Lots of news, lots of information, but more than anything, just a pleasure to be with you and hanging out, talking shop a little bit.
Yeah, I love that you brought up those comments because I was looking at gold too. It looks strong.
Earlier.
I mean, in general, like the hold off of yesterday, a little bit of slide, and then the push, but was supported by the CPI pump across everything. But where it retraced to now is not terrible. Like this is absolutely could be a very reasonable retest of this momentum push on news, and then it could hold here. Like this move in general, news or not, is good look.
Yeah, I think it's a really good look as well. And I'm looking at it. Where my head's at is more on the longer term side.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's really doing the good work holding that 4K level. Like that level is so important for gold right now that if it breaks, you're talking about a pretty quick 500-point journey down to the next level of support. If it holds, you break back up above 42. Ultimately, that's confirmation of a reversal on the daily chart. And honestly, the gold didn't want to fight the CPI report. Gold didn't want to fight the path of policy. So commodities across the board start to look a little bit better. By the way, Ethereum, I know that's not for this conversation, but Ethereum is breaking out of 14 here today. That looks absolutely fantastic right now. Absolutely fantastic.
Ooh, yeah.
The best reversal playing out in the entire market right now, in my opinion, is Ethereum.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like an inverted head and shoulder, and then now we're breaking the neck.
Yeah, starting to really test that neckline. Those stupid wicks at the zero, that drives me crazy.
Just look up here, guys.
Yeah, just look at the top of the trend. It's a really good look too.
Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. Nice. So CPI, let's talk CPI for a minute now that you're here, CPI Whisperer. Because market popped with the news. So can you break down the whisper behind what it actually means?
Yeah, a couple of things I think are important on the CPI report here today. Number one was the bar was already set for a positive inflationary conversation. Positive for us is lower inflation. The bar was set. Last month was 4.2. Expectation was 3.8. So even if it comes in at the number, you're still talking about a reprieve of inflation versus where we were last month. And so with the bar set low here this month, going into this month with an anticipation of a fairly sizable reduction in energy cost, which was absolutely the case. You saw just a situation where CPI year over year came in at 3.5% versus the expectation of 3.8. Last month, 4.2. That saw a rapid repricing of the path of policy where you had like a 44% probability of a rate hike going into next meeting. That is now at 17%. And so one of the reasons why you saw the markets improve coming into today, one of the reasons you saw across the board commodity landscape get better today for the bulls, undeniable commodity landscape got better for the bulls here today, is it's not just the reduction of inflation, it's the reduction of the dollar, because as inflation goes up, the Fed has to raise interest rates. As the Fed raises interest rates, people want to buy more dollars because you get paid more interest rate. That's been the case for the last 3-4 weeks in the market, and it's really put a lot of pressure on the market, and it's really put a lot of pressure on the commodity landscape. We get a little bit of that reprieve, which means you're not. After the last Fed meeting, the market was talking 2 to 3 interest rate hikes. Now the market's talking 1 interest rate hike. And so the key difference is we're just not going to fight as much interest rate conversation. And that is extremely positive for gold. That's extremely positive for the commodity landscape. A little bit less impactful on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, but still a positive data point. And then you also had the kickstart to earnings here today with JP Morgan and Citibank and Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. And the only thing you want to see on that day, is not warn of craziness, get on base, do good things. And across the board, they were okay. Beats on EPS, revenue handles are a little bit weird when it comes to the banks, but pretty decent kickstart to the earnings season, pretty decent inflationary backdrop going into earnings season. And let's just hope we get some alleviation on the geopolitical so we can get a breakout and get a runner here.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that's hesitating the market today. I really do. The only reason we're still dancing 7,600 today and not dancing 7,700 today with a rip-roaring bullish trend and lights out price action is you got a positive kickstart to earnings. You got a positive inflationary backdrop going into earnings, but you just have that night after night dropping bombs on Iran. And that could wipe out, if that has any lasting impact, that's going to wipe out this reprieve on inflation. That's what's causing the market to hesitate a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great point. It's like muddled factors that are kind of on top of each other and are not quite in alignment with everything just flying. And so it's going to take a little bit more effort, I guess, and kind of dancing around.
Still a good look though. Like you get that S&P on the on a daily chart, man. I like the look going into it.
I was looking at that earlier with Justin, and it's strong.
It's a pretty look going into that 76.50 breakout. Well, and by the way, that top level's fake. I'm just throwing it out there. It's just fake pricing.
The weekly is a beautiful bull flag too.
High base. It's a multiple time frame breakout. Do you know who the turtle traders were, Becky?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Turtle traders were a Richard Dennis trading group in the early 1980s, right? Their systems were not complicated. Their systems is basically the S&P 500 right now. Multiple time frame breakouts, daily, weekly combination. Once it breaks out of the same level, you get a leg up in the market. I remember their first trade on heating oil was one of the most famous stories of all time. I'm not going to retell the entire story here today, but my point is the market is literally in the exact same pattern that Richard Dennis made his entire career on. Multiple time frame breakout scenarios. They're extremely powerful once you get a catalyst to break out.
Such a good point. If you can zoom out and have an idea, I think I trade so much better when I have the daily setup in the back of my mind, because it makes me like more biased. And I think NQ had even a stronger example of this. And I'll show it in a minute. But basically, like a bearish candle doesn't need to fake you out, because on the larger time frame, this is a bullish continuation consolidation period. And so a bearish could just be putting you back into support of like this right here. This candle pattern. Now we're retested that, and now we're seeing the bulls today. And NQ had an even more kind of almost dramatic one with this daily morning star is where we sunk into with yesterday's bearish aggression. But then this counter to that right now is not that surprising.
No, the only thing we're missing here, because the NASDAQ's in a little bit of a different pattern, right? A little bit of a triangle instead of a horizontal, but a breakout's a breakout. Right. Breakout to breakout, whether you're breaking horizontal or whether you're breaking vertical, it's still breakout. The only thing you're missing is the catalyst to get the market to punish the bears. Like that's it. That's it. I thought you had good data today. I thought the market had an opportunity today to do it. But again, I just think there's too much hesitation on the geopolitical side, because it's hard for me to geek out as a Fed guy, right? As an inflation hawk, as someone who understands how this process works. It's hard for me to get really geeked out on inflation at 3.5%. And it has nothing to do with the number. It has everything to do with the path of where that number is going. Like if inflation was 3.5% and we were still debating the MOU and still debating a path to an ultimate conclusion, I'm telling you right now, the market would be up at 100 extra points on the S&P 500. Like it just would. But everything you're seeing positive today, it's concerning that the ongoing geopolitical situation is not going to allow that to actually be a longer term story. And so good, it's good data, but there's an open question in the future. Well, how long is the Straits of Hormuz going to be shut down? And how long are we going to debate whether Iran or us get to charge a fee on that? And how long are we going to continue to have these ridiculous conversations on the geopolitical side without any degree of actual, truthful, positive movement in one way or in one direction or the other? And so there's just some hesitation in gold, in silver, in crypto, a little bit in the market breaking out because of that geopolitical situation. But again, I just think that we could see alleviations there and whatnot. I think we focus on the technicals, but it was a good day. Market still hasn't broken out yet, though.
Yeah. ES is looking stronger, like on the larger time frame. They're pushing harder at the top. So NQ, it's more neutral.
Well, the NQ and the Dow a little bit today. Like outside of the geopoliticals, IBM warned of guidance in the future. And IBM was down. It was down like 26%. IBM down 26% today represented 400 points on the Dow Jones. 400 points on the Dow Jones. If IBM doesn't gap down 26, one stock, if IBM doesn't gap down 26, we're all talking about a breakout in the market today. You're talking about a pump in the Dow Jones. You're talking about a pump in the ES. You're talking about the NASDAQ. So it's everything else looks good. IBM, you're bad boy today, and geopolitical stuff, a little bit of dark cloud cover hanging over the market.
Get it together, IBM. Come on.
Yeah, Big Blue. We're going to have to take the big away from you.
Knock it off.
You're not going to put your big boy britches on. What are we going to do here, Big Blue?
Hold it together.
And they got slaughtered today, though.
Oh, no.
Like just butchering.
This is pandemonium.
Yeah, terrible for the investors of IBM.
Dang.
It also gapped down to a major support level as well.
Well, there you go. I mean, they're just getting set up for another move. Yeah, give them a little space.
Give that 216 level a little space.
Look at my psychology coaching. Give them a little grace. They're just coming down a little bit. They're going to rebound strong.
Don't you smother Big Blue.
She's fine. She's trying really hard.
Yeah. That's exactly what people in Big Blue say. Like you're trying real hard to get involved in the next AI trade. You're trying really, really hard. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Big Blue. You got this. Well, I have been trying for this short, Matt, and it's really just dancing around my level. Because on the intraday, we're really sideways. And it looked like it was, doing some like sideways consolidation, inverted head and shoulders almost. And here it looked like it rolled over and was going downward. And so I got in and aiming for VWAP, which is higher with the overnight one. And but it's not really doing it. And we are pushing higher today in general. VWAP is sloping up. All the price action is above it. And we're at the IB high. Oh, imbalances are helping.
I thought, I came in here within the last 20 minutes, but I haven't done anything yet. I doubt I will do anything today. I'm just getting fresh back from my appointment, but
yeah,
I was thinking fade the close the same way you were thinking. Like that was exactly where my mindset was, because we're not breaking 76 today and we're at 75.95. Like if the market was going to break 76 today, it would have done it at 8:30 in the morning. It would have done it at 10:30 in the morning. It would have done it at 11:30 in the morning, 12:30. Like it had all the chances in the world to break 76 today, and it couldn't carry the bid. And so I do think the fade was the right way, and I still maintain that, by the way. Because I just don't like if the path of least resistance is down because it's proven it's not breaking out today. I honestly think you had the right call there.
Yeah. I feel good about it. I did not add. I was gonna add and double my position size because I just got 2 micros and I was aiming for 4 or 5. But then it just kept wonking around and I didn't really see what I wanted to feel confident with the ad. So I stayed small. So then the risk is like when the imbalances came, which they came actually faster than I thought. But I decided not to squeeze it, and so it might just be a nothing burger.
I would say that, like, for the overnight traders here, that level right around on the 5-minute chart, you can see it a little bit, but
And
that
ES?
level right around on the ES at like 87, like that level at 87 goes, you're probably talking about down to VWAP and maybe even 70. Like that thing is held like a champ for the last couple hours in the market.
Yeah, it really has. That can't be.
Well, how was your psych lab? I didn't get it today because like I was saying, I had that appointment, but I was missing psych lab. I'm definitely gonna catch it later tonight, though.
Oh, thanks.
So whenever you're,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone's here who caught it, but
I guarantee they did.
I think I have a good handful of people who did. It was I brought on my personal trainer coach, and she is excellent she teaches mindset and self-talk and life coaching. And she's honestly just good friends. She lives in my town. Like we hang out with our kids and stuff, but she is a really excellent coach on all things mindset. And so we just kicked around like different things that factor into like healthy life and healthy trading and balance and everything. So I think I enjoyed it. So it was good for me.
Absolutely going to check it out later today.
It's cool. She's good. It's funny to listen to her talk because I can hear her in me because she's taught me so much over the years. Good, full circle.
So the Padawan becomes the master.
I feel a little Padawan-y.
She's around you. You feel like the Padawan.
You do, yeah. I was like, man, people are going to tell that I just copy her. But it's because she made me. She literally coached me into a big part of my success.
I know human beings, Becky, like to have original thoughts, but there's no real original thought any longer. Yeah. And the best capitalist of all time at this point, they take proven systems, proven ideas, and build on top of proven systems and proven ideas. And so if you need to take from your mentor the same way I took from my mentor, who took from their mentor, who took from their mentor, who took from their mentor, I just think you're being a good capitalist.
Well, that's what she said too. She said she didn't make it up either. She learned from mentors. She studied. She's literally certified because she went through programs to learn these things. And so, I mean, it just depends on who you listen to and what sinks in deeper and changes who you are. And I have said all the time that I am who I am here at BluSky and in general because of the work that I have done in multiple arenas. And some of that has been with her, not just for physical health, but just completely for realism and balance and grace for myself.
Yeah, mindset's mindset. It doesn't matter what it is. It all impacts us all.
Yeah. And honestly, just being in a space to have these conversations makes me better at everything that I do to have these conversations around me. So I think it definitely served the purpose of that. It's a nice breakup of routine.
I just love how open you are with all of this in front of the community. I find it to be quite amazing to have these honest, open conversations, these transparent conversations in front of the world to see. And I just think they add so much value to what we're trying to do here.
Thank you for saying that. I wasn't prepared for that, but thank you for saying that because I think that authenticity is not as common as I wish it was. And I think that to know that someone else has gone through something similar or has struggled as well and has had to put in a lot of real work and stuff, it normalizes it. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so I got here about 20 minutes ago, but just chit-chatting coming into the close here. So I missed the first part as well. Justin and Becky were holding down the fort. I'm certain it was absolutely amazing. But I'm just kind of getting fresh here, saying hi, hanging out with the team. I always miss you guys when I can't be here. So I was like, oh, I'm getting back early. Jump online, text Justin and Becky. I'll be there.
I told Dick, I was like, I hope he's not rushing. I don't think he's gonna make it. He had a full day. You did. You made arrangements to cover. You're good, man. He likes us.
but I was gone too long. I missed you guys. I wanted to come in and say hi.
Aw, perfect. It's a good team around here. It's a good place to hang out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed today. It was fun. It was nice. She came to my house, and so we were on camera.
Oh, you guys were together right there? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. There's literally no one else in Oregon City that I would do that with where I live, but she's one of them. So good.
Yeah, you had two. You had two, Ace. I'm lucky I wasn't here. I would have been beat up pretty good.
It was so funny when you said that, Ace. It made me laugh because she is the one who I say, like, oh gosh, Amy's gonna get me with the ruler, because like she's who I have to tell, like, when I hurt my back or when I'm like off the rails with, like, I only worked out once in the last 2 weeks. Amy, I'm sorry, I'm coming back. She's my ruler, so it's like full circle for real.
We all have to have a ruler in our life.
Again, checks and balances. You know, the person who knows what's good for you. It's out of love.
Yeah, that's what Mike Tyson says. It's out of love.
Yeah.
I just love his famous saying. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like that is one of the realest statements in trading ever.
I think it's such a good trading quote.
Yeah, the crossovers are massive because I think all the time about trading being our arena, and the thinking about boxing, you know, because you have to be able to take a punch and get back up and hold your composure. Coding. Oh, how so, Ace? Coding taught you discipline, huh? That's interesting. Are you an engineer, like a software or something? No, what's that?
It's really good at it, by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, earlier in my career, I was trying to think about nursing and trading, because it's like, as a nurse, like, I literally can't do anything without listening to the doctor. And I was like, why can't I pretend that there's a doctor wrote the order saying you cannot trade more than 1 mini or 5 micros? And why can't it be doctor's order? Like, it didn't work for me. I'm a rebel. Turns out I can listen to the doctors at the hospital, but not on my trading room.
That does make sense, though.
I tried to rationalize myself for a long time, and I just didn't take.
It is amazing how we kind of rip out discipline when it comes to the financial markets every now and then.
There's so much freedom.
Oh, I'd rather enjoy that freedom, to be perfectly honest.
I know, it's great. But with great, what's the statement? Great opportunity. Yeah, it's great responsibility comes great. That's not it. What's the full statement?
You're so close.
Oh my God, it's right there. With great power comes great responsibility. Thank you, Nick. That boy is on point with quotes. You better always be there, Nick. Gabber had it too. He just had to top.
I was going to say, the man's thinking Marvel.
With great power comes great responsibility, which is how we need to think about our trading. With code, only one path can get spelling.
Can't have mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep,
you're right. It can mess up the whole thing. All right, this trade is finally winning in the last 30 seconds of the day, so I'm down for that. Been holding this B for 50 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, it's
make $100 off of this. And that's a wrap.
Sweet.
Hey.
Get green, baby. Get green.
All right, I'm gonna. Oh, jeez. Okay, I gotta close this trade. Anyways, it was wonderful hanging out with all you guys. Why is it doing this? It won't let me close it because market closed. Let me get out of my trade. Close flat in the end. Look at let me close because it must be market close. Anyway, today was a great stream, guys. It's printing money and I can't get out, so I'll just have to ride that. And cheers to a lovely Tuesday. I really appreciate everyone coming to Psychology Lab today. I truly, actually, really have grown into enjoying this role with you guys, and I'm very honored to be in this space at BluSky. And thank you guys for joining us. Please do like and hit the notification so you know when we're on live. Psychology Lab will be posted later tonight if you didn't catch it in real time. Holy extra orders on my screen right now.
Team, thank you so much for being best part of Blue Sky. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel, and have a great, wonderful rest of your day. Later, team.
Thank you, Mary. Bye, guys.